Hello everyone, welcome to the Awakened Healer Within. I'm Jackie, and for those of you that are brand new that have never seen this video, welcome, thanks for watching. I am basically a spiritual medium and healer myself. Since 2012 was when my healing abilities turned on, and if you're interested in that story, you can visit my website at Clear Vibration and read more about it. And all these years, I have just been getting to know my own angels and guides as they are awakening me to the spiritual gifts that I have available and the ones that can teach in order to help people like you that are either just learning about your own healing abilities, or maybe you've been healing for years, but you could use some new tools for your toolbox when you're working on others. All right, so welcome you guys. Please don't forget to give it one of these if you enjoy it to help with the circulation of the video. And if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe, because that way you can get notified when the videos are brought online each week. Okay, so this is interesting. The Entourage today, that is who I'm channeling. You can always look in the description box below this video to see who makes up the Entourage, but they are 10 guides of mine. And what they want to talk about today are, I can already feel it in the heart chakra. This is interesting. My heart chakra is like going, they want to bring through the information for confidence in your own healing abilities. They want to make sure that as you continue to awaken to what your own human vessel is capable of, they're saying it's very important to bring into alignment the knowledge that you have from past lives, past experiences, in alignment with what you are incorporating with in this lifetime, and then also in alignment with what is in your future. They say it's important to get all of these connections because it will help you in the confidence of what you are doing in your present moment. The topic that they brought through in alignment with that is understanding what you are bringing in to this lifetime, because there are many of you that are way more than what you see when you look in the mirror. That's DC. So Delores Cannon's talking now. She says, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you just see a man or a woman that has been through dramas and traumas that could very easily be defined and labeled by the experiences of this lifetime? She says, because many people do that, and it limits them exponentially, she says. And she says, all that's doing is hindering you. She goes, you are not defined by your past. And she says that the past, including past lives, is a way to actually incorporate the information that is being co-created within your own experience now, so that you can expand and blossom into who you are here to be in this lifetime. She says, think about not what you see in the mirror, but it's looking beyond what you see. She's like, say you can take off the hair, the makeup, the clothes, right? Go beyond what that mirrored image is. She says, and go into the heart and ask, who am I? Where have I been? What knowledge do I bring in to this reality? She goes, and that's where you're going to find the true expansive version of you. She goes, and then embody it. She's like, and then step into it, own it, utilize it. She goes, because the past and the past lives are what's going to bring in those tools that are helpful for you. She says, and it's very intuitive. She says, it's already hardwired in there. You just forgot. So yeah, she's like, we collectively are coming in today to remind you that you already have downloaded within you a hardwired intuitive instinct of what you're capable of. She goes, we would just want to remind everyone today that that is accessible to every single one of you. Okay, so yeah, so Thich, Naht, Hahn is coming through now. Okay, so he's saying some of the things that you may not remember, again, will take time for it to come into your awareness. He goes, but be very patient because they will come through at just the right time that they're meant to be revealed. So he's giving an example. You may have had a past life as a shaman, but that hasn't come through yet because it's not been necessary for that to be awakened. It's like having our dormant DNA. It's not junk DNA, you guys. It's valid truth of who we have been. And he's saying all that stuff will wake up and come in. And he goes, and when it does, when it like, once it's like tapped into and opened, it's weird. It's like almost like he's saying it expels into the energy of the cells and then amplifies as it integrates within you. And then you will just, again, instinctively know what to do when you're either working on yourself or working on someone else. But what Thich's saying is that this stuff is going to come in at just the right time because they're never going to overload you with information. That would be pointless. It would be pointless. We know that. And so it's happening in intervals, he says, that will allow you to be able to accept the information. Yeah, that's a good point, Thich. He says, because some people won't be ready to receive the information. Like say you've got Pleiadian background or Arcturian background, and you're still like just getting used to the fact that there might be extraterrestrial beings that are making up your DNA. So, and I laugh just because I was there. I remember the first time my mentor was talking about off-planet beings, and I was like, I'm not ready. I was like, I'm not ready for that yet. And it took years for me because, again, my awakening was 2012. I had heat coming out of my hands. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And it was probably within about 4 or 5 years that my mentor said something about like extraterrestrials, and I still wasn't ready. But as of, I would say, 3-4 years ago, I was ready. And so you might be experiencing the same thing. So Thich is saying, just be patient. The information and the knowledge, the wisdom, the tools, the techniques, all of that are going to come through at just the right time for you. Okay. All right. What else do you guys want to say about that? Okay, so this is Great Mountain. So Great Mountain is a Native American healer, and he is connected, like incredibly connected with Gaia, with nature. And he says that don't be intimidated when these parts, yeah, thank you. He's saying, don't be intimidated when these aspects of you come online. Because again, you remember a lot of these because these are either, he says they are either aspects of your past lives that you've had, or they are aspects of you that are present on other timelines now, or they're your own spiritual guides that are coming through that are assisting you. Okay, so basically one of those three things, basically, okay? And he says, so don't be intimidated when they come through that you start doubting yourself, where you're like, I kind of feel like I'm supposed to, he's like, give an example. So I remember when I first started healing, for some reason, I kept wanting to do this over the client's body. And I had never done that before. It reminds me of like cooking, and I cannot stand being in the kitchen. But it was like I kept wanting to go like this over the person's body and go like this. And I had no idea why I kept feeling like I needed to do that, but I didn't doubt it. It's almost like I just instinctively knew that I needed to spin something and I needed to pull it and toss it somewhere. But it wasn't until later that I was like really connecting with my guides and learning who they are. I was like, why do I want to do that? And they were like, because you've got a shaman guide. And that is something that is a tool and a technique that is very common in the shaman world. So what Great Mountain is saying is that when these aspects start coming through, he's like, let them expand and cultivate and especially co-create with the healing that you're doing. Because even if it's foreign, unknowing to you, it's not. It's just been dormant or unrevealed. It's new, right? Coming up. Okay, what else? He says, have fun with it. He says, have fun with it because it is a part of you, whether it's, again, an aspect of you or one of your guides, and it will come easy. He says, trust your own intuition because the intuition is authentic, okay? And when you believe in your own authenticity, it allows it to come through without resistance. And you'll just know. If you're like doing something and you're doubting yourself in the middle of it all, then there will be some resistance, right? There's a block there. He goes, but if you don't doubt it, that it's just going to flow through and you're just going to end up doing whatever you're doing, and it'll actually make sense because the energy and the vibration of the healing is going to connect, and it's going to react based off of the tools and the techniques that you're using. And then you're going to look back and be like, oh, I shouldn't have been intimidated because it worked. Right? Make sense? Hope that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, Wally. Wally is a whale, for those of you that have not read the Entourage list yet. He's like, let it flow. So he's showing me the DNA. He says, remember that your willingness to channel. Okay, yeah, that's important. He says, remember to take your ego out of it because your willingness to channel allows the energy to flow through you. Because as healers, we aren't doing it. We're channeling the information. And he says, it's like when you, so I had some of the prior videos talk about how to ground and how to connect, and it's real important to take your ego out of it. You're grounding, you're connecting, and you are allowing the energy, source energy, to flow through you to either, again, help heal you or heal someone else. And when your ego is out of it, then it allows that information and that energy to move without any resistance. He says the resistance comes when the ego steps in and says, I don't understand, or this isn't something I'm familiar with. Yeah. Okay. It's fun that they're all kind of like tapping in this week. Okay. Yeah. Wally's saying that one of the quickest and easiest ways for you to get out of alignment with the healing work being done is letting the ego come in. Because it wants to be a part. I mean, that's the thing, is it wants to be a part of it. It wants to be heard. It wants to be right. And he says that if you just, when you set the space, set the intention that you're setting aside your own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And it's like we respect the ego because of the fact that it is there for our survival instincts, but it doesn't have to be the loud prescience voice that's going on. So like, imagine that it just kind of sits in the corner and you can pat it on the head and be like, stay. Just watch. I tell my ego, I'm like, just watch and observe, okay, for a while. So that the higher self can be a very clear channel for the energies that are trying to come through. Because when you've got these higher aspects, these spirit guides that are coming through with this energy, remember, it's not about you unless you're healing yourself, obviously, or it's about the other person, and you don't want to get in the way of that. Okay, Rob is the dragon, and he's kind of adding to what they've already said, that it can be, he's showing me like when you have a very powerful spirit guide that's coming through and bringing their energy through, that, because he's kind of tapping into the intimidation thing again, that it can be overwhelming the first time it happens. So he says, remember that grounding and anchoring your energy into Gaia is very important so that you can continue to be that channel. He says, if you ever get to the point where you feel like you're too up in your head or you've kind of lost your anchor, he says, ground to Gaia and hold that. And we have talked about that in other videos. It's grounding to Gaia, connecting to source, and allowing that to be your anchor, and then into your Merkaba so that you can hold that solid. He goes, but if you ever find that you're losing some of that, check back in and make sure that you are anchored to Gaia, you are connected to source, and you've got that Merkaba that's holding the essence of all of that together. He says, because some of you are going to be channeling energy for healing that is beyond your comprehension, maybe at that time. He wants me to give an example. I remember the first time, and I was like a brand new healer. This was still back in 2012. And I had a client, I was teaching yoga at the time, and I kind of moved from teaching yoga into doing healing sessions because my yoga clients could feel the healing coming from me. And so I just kind of transitioned pretty easily into doing healing work. And I was working on this one woman, and I wasn't quite sure what she was dealing with, but I had I could tell I had a very wise elderly spirit there that was wanting to work on her. And I remember I was so new and I didn't really know, like, my ego wasn't really involved from the get-go, so I just like let him, I made sure that he was in the right intention, and then I let him work through me. And then what I found out was he was doing psychic, so what they call psychic surgery, I call it angelic or etheric surgeries on her. And that may take some of you by surprise when things like that happen, again, because like I don't typically go into a healing with the intention to do some type of etheric surgeries. I go in with what is best in that person's highest good, letting their spirit guides tell me what's going on. And if someone shows up to do that type of work, then I anchor that in and allow that again to happen through me. But he says just be aware that some of you will be channeling through these high dimensional beings that are coming in to do what is like surgery on certain clients that you have. And he says, and there's no reason to be alarmed. And again, he's like, take the ego out of it. They're choosing you for a reason. So don't doubt yourself when you're doing this kind of work. Yeah. Yeah, because this is funny. Yeah, Fred, he's Mantis. Okay, so he's like, we know what we're doing. We just need you to get on board, It's like, we just need you to be anchored, confident, high vibrational. Again, holding that in your Merkaba. He goes, when you do your part, we'll show up and do our part. Well said, Fred. Yeah. We have so much support that's coming in. And like I said, maybe you're just working on yourself and you can just sit there and for yourself experience all of this. That's the way I started. I was just like, oh, I have so many things that I want to heal within myself. And I've spent years doing it, just working through all the veils and the layers. And all the different guides that I have just come through when they need to come through. And it's such an awesome experience. And when you work on other people, sometimes you just have things happen and you're just like, what the heck was that? And again, it's all meant to be. You would not be doing it if it wasn't the position you were meant to be in at that time. So go with it. Go with it. Enjoy it. Again, the whole entourage is like, enjoy the process. Enjoy the opportunity that you have, because it's going to awaken you to grace, gratitude, forgiveness, and expansion of your consciousness. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, you guys. That was informative. All right. So I hope all of you enjoyed the Entourage's messages today. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, don't hesitate to get into the comment box below, or you can always go on my website at clearvibration.com and send me a message that way. If you're still watching and you like the video, give it one of those. Please share it if you have someone that else could benefit from it and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. All right, every week we do these on Tuesdays, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Bye.